That was really great, sir. Yes, we have, since school days, we have been taught the sharing is caring. And that's what you have clearly explained. We need to expand ourselves, our knowledge, and we need to visit other clubs and share whatever knowledge they have to give us and what we can give to them. Wonderful, sir. So next one, what is your vision for the district? Here are new initiatives. Yes, a couple of questions. So we can start here with the first one. What is your vision for the district?
Well, my vision for the district is something that we set out last year itself when District 120 was formed, where we said that the vision of this district is to build sustainable clubs and ensure that members stay on with Toastmasters. Because if you look in this part of the world, or in this region of the world, average of which most more than 3 of them spend around 3 years or a little bit more and then they leave. Whereas if you compare that with the rest of the world, there you find retention percentages that go almost like 50-70%. Not 70% is too much, I would say around 60%. But uniformly, most of them are above 50. Whereas in this part of the country or this part of the world, though you may have new members getting added, but the retention is less. And that creates a lot of issues because of that, clubs don't sustain. And I have seen personally that clubs that start in 1 year close down in the next year. We always have this challenge of adding members. So everybody is kind of running to meet the numbers, which is not what we are here in Toastmasters for. Okay. As district officers, as Club ExCom, it is one of our roles to have growth, but that is not the primary and all-encompassing role that we have to do. Toastmasters is primarily an educational organization. So the stress should be more on education. The stress should be more on imparting or giving the opportunity to members to develop education and leadership skills. And for that to happen, the clubs have to kind of sustain. And for the clubs to sustain, the members have to stay invested in Toastmasters. And for members to stay invested in Toastmasters, they should get the value out of whatever time and money that they're spending in Toastmasters. And the only way that can happen is if you give all the necessary inputs which clubs and members need to make that journey successful, which is providing them with the right inputs, the right training, and the right support, and the right recognition. All of that, this which is there, is only what will make members stay. It's as simple as that. When we today renew our Amazon Prime membership, we do that without anybody telling us, right? Why do we do that? Because we see value in it. We want to watch what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Or what is the new movie that has come out. So you are seeing value in it. When you go and renew an online subscription for a journal that you would be reading, it could be a management journal, it could be a science journal, or it could be a health journal. You do it because you find value in reading that, and that is why you go and renew that subscription. But the same has to be there in Toastmasters also. When all of us signed up for Toastmasters, we signed up for something which we found that we will get out of Toastmasters. And as a district leader, our leaders, it is our responsibility to ensure that we build an environment which helps members derive the why of why they have joined Toastmasters. As long as we help members from reaching that why, we will be successful. And clubs will continue to thrive. If clubs thrive, obviously the district thrives. And members will renew their membership only when they see value in the club meetings, only if they say they are learning something. So that has been our mission. So we've said that numbers growth is important. See, even Toastmasters International says that you need 8% net growth. They never tell us that you go and add 100 clubs in a year. They say 8% net growth, which what does it mean? If you look at it, they're saying that all your current clubs remain active clubs, right? And over and above that, you add net 8%. So their formula is very simple. In a way, they are also talking about retention. They never tell us to go after high growth. One thing also we have to understand that we are all in these roles only for 1 year. And if you build a growth engine that is very high, you should also have a mechanism in place to sustain it year over year. Which effectively means that if I add 100 clubs, I should be around for the next 3 to 4 years to ensure that I can help to sustain those 100 clubs year over year. But if I walk out next year without a proper handover, then the person who's taking over from me will suffer. And if you're not able to sustain, end of the day, the numbers will go down and people will say, well, the district is suffering. So that is what we are saying is sustainable is a mantra. It is not a mantra which I designed. It has been the mission of the district even from last year. And we want to kind of walk on that path, which is why we tell members, be regular to our club meetings, ensure that you are getting the true value of what you have invested for in Toastmasters. And for the club officers and leaders of the district, it is our duty to ensure that we provide the right environment, the right support, and the right recognitions to make that happen.
Thank you once again, sir. Sir, actually, some questions were already asked, and that the previous one was one among them. The members who are attending, they are asking questions, and it is in connection with what you just now said, retention of members. So a member wants to know how to keep the members engaged. They have joined the club and they want some benefits out of it. How to keep them engaged, how to retain their membership in a club. Can you put some light on it, sir, with your experience?
How to keep the members engaged. Now, it's a very important but very basic thing. Like we all, those of us who have worked in sales will know that organizations say, know your customer, right? Today, even the government of India tells you to fill up a KYC form because they also want to know more about you. So whenever any member walks into the club, it's up to the club ExCom to understand what the member really wants to get out of Toastmasters. People walk in for different reasons, right? Or they join Toastmasters for different reasons. Some could just come in because they want to get over their fear of public speaking, because they're afraid to speak in front of an audience. So they want to kind of work on that. Some want to get here because they want to be a better speaker. They have all the right ideas, but they don't know how to express it. Some come here because they want to get onto a career of becoming a public speaker. So they will only want to contest, go into contest, win accolades, go up to the next level, try again till they get to where they are. Some come here to network because this is a very good forum to network for almost 150 clubs. And you go to club meetings, you never know whom you will meet and where the next big idea for you will come from. So some come to network. Some people come to learn leadership skills, because here is some place where you can take up roles within the club, outside the club, learn from other people, bring your leadership skills and improve your journey in your professional life. So there are different things for which people come from. For a club to ensure that every member knows what they want, they have to first understand what the member wants. And now when they start their speeches in the club, ensure that this is where the role of a club ExCom becomes very important. In a club, some members might join and they might just keep quiet because they would be like very afraid to speak up. So they are just coming for the meetings, they are sitting there, just not afraid to kind of step up and speak. This is where the club ExCom needs to engage with every member, identify what they want, give them those speaking slots. If the member wants a mentor, assign them a mentor. Okay, let them work with the mentor. As they kind of progress up, encourage them to go and give more speeches outside the club. Let them go and share their experiences outside the club. If they want to take up ExCom roles, slowly move them into ExCom roles so they take up leadership positions. And if they want to be a speaker, encourage them to kind of contest, give them the right support of the right mentors or trainers who can help them become a better speaker on stage to go on to become a public speaker. So there are different avenues. The core amount of that is every member should need to be talked to, every member's needs should be understood. Okay. Now it will sound very big, but in a way it requires a lot of time. Okay. And especially if you're talking about 20 members, somebody needs to spend serious time doing this. Okay. And there is a review mechanism should also need to happen. So that people should feel enthused to come into a club meeting. Like I have my home club, which meets at 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Now people would say, who would be that crazy to get up in the morning and jump into a Toastmasters meeting, right? But whenever I go in there, we almost have 15 people, sometimes even 20 people in every meeting. And sometimes we have external speakers who come in. The meeting gets more educative, informative. Some clubs have a recognition model where they recognize people. Like the club that I go to, they have a recognition model. They will recognize the top 2 people in the month who have not only given speeches, but also taken role player assignments in a club and outside the club. And they kind of send a good book to everybody. They ask you what kind of books you read, and then based on that, they send you a book. So that's from some form of recognition. Some give recognitions which come from the district, like a ribbon or things like that. So members feel motivated. But end of the day, everybody who comes in should see that there is progress happening. Otherwise, if they just come in and walk off, it is very difficult to build that motivation, especially in an online mode. Let me tell you, if it was in person, then obviously you had avenues like an officers training program or a new member orientation or club contest, area contest, division contest are all happening in person. So there are a lot more opportunities for people to network, and online has kind of curtailed it a bit. So which is where more member connect and more member addressal of their needs becomes very, very important.
Yes, sir. So with your response, I can get it, sir. If you teach me, I might forget, but if you involve, I definitely. Thank you, sir, for that. There is one. Actually, with this response, with this reply, you have covered many questions. So one more is, having more than 20 plus years in corporate as an entrepreneur, what is it in you as a district director?
See, let me tell you, like I got into Toastmasters not because I always have told the story before also. Not because I wanted something. I got into Toastmasters because I felt the people in my organization could help with a forum like Toastmasters. Being an IT organization with a relatively young workforce, I could see that the people, though technically very good, had this challenge when they had to speak up in front of customers or in meetings or among themselves. So they had this challenge. Most of them would not open their mouth, or they would nod their head to everything which the customer said. They felt that it would be an insult, or somebody would get angry if they stood up and asked questions or had a different point of view. So when I looked up at Toastmasters and I encountered Toastmasters at a customer's organization, I found that this would be a good forum. So when I started Toastmasters, me being the person who started it in my organization, I became the president of the club. And that was how I joined Toastmasters. Now, in 9 years in this fraternity, I found there's a lot that I can learn, because this is the only fraternity that gives you the opportunity to go across people. There's a lot that I can share based on my experience, which has been over the past 25, 26 years. And that's the reason I kind of stayed in Toastmasters. And then I took on one role after the other. And everything was a learning. And I have enjoyed every moment of it. So am I here for the title? No, I'm not here for the title. At this point in my life, at this age, titles don't matter. But I'm here just for the pure joy of learning and sharing. Okay? That's what I'm here for. So hopefully that journey will continue for a long time. And I have never had a single dull moment in my entire journey of 9 years in Toastmasters. And I'm not telling this because I have to sound positive. This is the truth. Okay? But I have never had a dull moment in my entire 9 years. And I hope that that continues. I've made a lot of friends here and a lot of acquaintances. Have known people whom I would have never known if I had not been in Toastmasters. Have learned a lot of things which I would have never learned if I had not joined Toastmasters. So that's what I would sum up as why I've joined Toastmasters and to where I am today in Toastmasters.
Definitely your journey is going to continue and it is going to benefit a lot of Toastmasters in district, not only in district 120, worldwide it is going to change their life, change their, make the journey happy. Now, when you say that not even one moment has been dull, here I'm posing a question. Being a district director, there are a lot of tasks and meetings that you are likely to be looped into. How will you say no to others without offending them?
How do I say no to others? See, luckily for me, Toastmasters is something that I have the privilege of doing almost on a full-time basis, because I've taken a sabbatical from work for the last 2 years. So I don't have to juggle my work time with my Toastmasters time. So there is no professional engagements that I have to do as part of my job, except to go and attend the occasional board meetings, which whenever it happens. But other than that, I have a lot of time on my hands to work towards Toastmasters. So this is like a full-time job for me. I would not call a job. It's like a full-time engagement or a full-time learning for me. So there has not been an opportunity which has come up till now where I have had to say no. Like even today, before I came for this meeting, I had attended 2 OTPs during the course of the day and 2 club meetings. So I just finished 1 club meeting and from there straight away, I just changed the Zoom link and came here. So I don't have that issue of saying no. And that's something which I would consider myself lucky to have that much time to spend. Which I tell people also, if you take up roles as district officers, please ensure that you have enough time on your hands to spend for Toastmasters. Because when you sign up for a role, the role is voluntary, the responsibility is not voluntary. So we have to kind of keep that in mind.
So I would say we are fortunate to have a district leader, district director who has all the time for us. I'm definitely sure that this is going to be a fantastic term for all of us. So this is another question, a technical one. The area director of D5 is asking, along with A5 making up TMI VIT, we wanted to know if it is possible for us to create a combined website for TMI VIT.
Well, you can create a website, and there are certain guidelines which are there in the Toastmasters brand manual and the Toastmasters procedures, which tell you how to create, what to put in a website, what not to put in a website. So we will be having a separate session with the PR team to handle all that queries for you. But I would also suggest that you go and look up the branding manuals and which states about how websites need to be done. And there is a very good initiative right now that within the Toastmasters ecosystem, you can go and create your website. So you don't have to host it anywhere. And it kind of pulls in all the data from the Toastmasters system. Plus, you can also add your own. Okay. And one of the challenges with creating a website on your own outside of the system is you have to be very, very compliant of the brand guidelines. So what you put on the website, is it material, copyrighted Toastmasters material? Then you have to be like taking their permission to replicate it. Is the logo, is the trademark very clear? If you are answering queries on the website, then those queries have to be in line with what Toastmasters rules and regulations are. So it's easy to create it technically, but it is kind of you need to be very process oriented to maintain it on an ongoing basis. So my answer to that is yes, definitely 2 areas can create, or 2 clubs can come and create a website. There is nothing stopping you from doing it. But only thing you have to be very careful about adhering to the brand guidelines for Toastmasters. And as I mentioned, we will be having a session very shortly by the district PR team on how to use the Toastmasters ecosystem to create a website. Because you can kind of use the word piggyback on their system. So what happens is the visibility of your website becomes much more easier when people go and search. Not many people are aware of it, but we will try to propagate it this year.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your share. Your opinion about collecting a club fee of $90 per year amidst a pandemic?
See, it is, first of all, it is not a club fee, it is a membership fee. So there's a difference between the two. $45 every 6 months is what you directly pay to Toastmasters. And that covers the entire educational syllabus which you are using in Toastmasters. So when you use the entire pathways, okay, this $90 is going towards maintaining and sustaining that entire pathways. It is going and maintaining all the other information which you get out of Toastmasters. It also is going forward to the support team which is there, because though us members are voluntary, we have people who are working in Toastmasters International who are paid employees. Okay? And they service every request that you ask, be it from club quality, from club growth, from finance, from PR to marketing, everything. Right? And then if you look at the things that we do, right? Today you log into Pathways, you upload your speech, you finish your speech, the data gets uploaded, you get your certificate, right? When members finish a particular path or clubs become distinguished, you get a ribbon. That's one part of it. Second is when you do all these club meetings and you use the Zoom licenses paid by the district, you do these conferences and everybody, most of us got an award last year, right? All that money is coming from what you pay, right? And it's not kind of free. And this is an educational program, which if you look at it, $90, if you multiply it by 74, divided by 365, it will only come to 22 rupees in a day. What will 20 rupees get you in today's world? I don't think anything. If I go to a tea stall, maybe 1 cup of tea and maybe one Vayaka bhaji or 1 vada, right? That is what it will get you for 20 rupees. But here in 20 rupees, you are getting a world-class education, which you can do at your own pace. Right? So that is how you need to look at it. So when I'm paying that membership fee, it is helping me to kind of get access to that ecosystem, get access to everything. And it is also helping the district to run everything what the district does today. If you run a Zoom license, that money is coming out of the membership you pay. Nobody's putting from their pocket when you use the district Zoom license. When you do all the recognitions, right? Recognition money is coming from the membership fees which you're paying. Nobody is collecting extra money to do recognitions here. Right? So there's a lot that goes behind it. And we can understand that in terms of pandemic, there has been a challenge, and a lot of people have had financial curtail. That is why Toastmasters did their best for you. They gave every member a free path. Right? Because earlier they said only 2 paths are free. From the 3rd path, they will charge you. Right? They offered a 3rd path free. And you will be surprised to see not even 10% of the members took advantage of that free path. The data shows. It's not that I'm telling. They published so many reminders saying that the free path is expiring, right? If you go and see in District 120, less than 10% of the members have availed of that free path. So it's not that Toastmasters, for chartering new clubs, they waived off the fee. Okay. Even for reinstating clubs, they waived off the fee. Okay, so there's a lot that they did. And I would always say that if anything is given free, it brings down the value. Okay, this is my personal opinion. So, and so I would say $45 is only equal to, or $90 is only equal to 18 rupees a day. If you keep that in mind and we say that it's an education that we are getting, I think we'll be able to appreciate it much better.
Thank you, sir, for the information regarding how the money is spent and how we should be grateful to DMI on that. Now, the next one is, on what basis the district finance manager, admin manager, and the PR manager are selected? Any specific reason to not keep the elections transparent?
District PR manager, district admin manager, and the other extended roles are elected roles. So they are elected by, or selected roles. So they are selected by the division director, district director. And this year we've made it even more transparent because we sent out nominations to everybody who wanted to apply, right from an area director. For the roles like for the district finance manager or district admin manager, and we spoke to a lot of people, and then the district director appointed it. Okay? So those roles are not kind of elected roles. Elected roles only come from a district director to a trio. Any of the trio roles are elected roles. Division director roles are elected roles. Area director is selected. Okay. Most divisions, the district director will just, the district director will just appoint. You will not even know. Here we made it much more transparent. Even for roles like the webmaster role and the parliamentarian role and some of the other roles, and all the teams on the extended committee for TLI, for PR, CGD, PQD, we opened up and people kind of applied and they were spoken to, they were interviewed, and obviously we can't select everybody, we can only select one person. So that's how we kind of selected it. And for the others who were not selected, we had also told them it's not the kind of, since you're not selected doesn't mean that your inputs or your experience is not valid. You can still contribute towards the other roles which are there. And I could see that a lot of them who were not selected to that process have still come back on extended committees for the division and the area and the other places. So that's what Toastmasters International says, that you have a provision of elected roles and you have provision of selected roles. Okay? And some of these roles are the prerogative of the district director. But this year we have made it even more democratic. We put it through a application process. It went through 2 levels of selection, especially for area directors, and then we kind of appointed people.
Okay, thank you, sir, for transparency that the new team has shown. And this is another example, the open house, to connect with people. The next one is, some club has been revolving around 10 members from starting till now. In a course of time, it becomes difficult for those 10 people, and they move to different leadership roles either in their careers. The club is left struggling. We know there is a best leadership series in Toastmasters. How do you see the situation, and what do you suggest in such cases to recognize and create a set of leadership for years to come so that the club passion does not die?
This is a scenario which we have seen being played out in multiple clubs across so many years. I have seen clubs which start with a bang and die with a whimper. There are clubs which are started by a couple of individuals. Okay, so there are these key people who are the anchor persons in a club, and the entire club revolves around them. And if something happens to these anchors, then the entire club kind of dissipates. There are some clubs where organization challenges make them lose membership. And we've seen that a lot during this pandemic time, as organizations have curtailed operations or shifted operations from one city to another. So clubs have lost members. But here, some of the things I would see is the most healthy clubs which I've seen are the community clubs. Not that all community clubs are excellent. There are community clubs which have challenges also. And the reason clubs are successful is because when they charter a club, they are very clear on what that mission of that club is going to be and why are members there in that club in the first place. If I charter a club just because I want to be something or I want to get to a certain level, or in corporate we've seen that there is budget, so they have kind of gone and chartered, those are the clubs that struggle. But if the club has formed together with a union of members which says that we are very clear that this is what we want to get out of Toastmasters, then those clubs sustain. I have seen clubs that have taken 2 to 3 years to charter, but once they have chartered, they have stayed strong because they ensure that the right set of members come into the club, all sharing the same vision and need. To answer the specific questions of what happens if a club is struggling with 10 members and how do they get better and better, I would say that if they are 10 and those 10 are dedicated members, you should be very happy. Because at least those 10 are very clear on what they want to get out of Toastmasters. Now, if you want to grow the club, there are no easy questions or rather easy solutions, but a couple of things that come to my mind is why don't each of the 10 get 1 or 2 more members into the club? If you are so passionate about Toastmasters and you are staying on with Toastmasters, it is easy for you to kind of spread that passion to others, right? And look at people whom you know who would also benefit through this. Get that 1 or 2 people to join, right? Market your successes. In today's digital world and social media, it is very easy to write about your experiences of how Toastmasters shaped you as an individual. By reading your experiences, people will be encouraged to come and ask you, what is this all about, right? That is how anyway you will attract members. First of all, that passion has to come within you. Once that passion is there, and 10 is a very big number, let me tell you. It's not a small number. 10 is a very big number. And if those 10 can ensure that we get at least 1 or 2 people attracted to the club or got to the club based on, again, a shared vision. Don't bring people because you need numbers. That is not going to work. It is just a short-term strategy. It will not work long time. Look at people who have a shared vision. Get those people. Let them feel kind of stay in the club for some time. If they believe in it, they will enroll. And when you give the right culture and the right environment, the club will flourish. Never look for shortcuts. See, that is one of the reasons why our sustainability has to be very important. And I could encourage all you people, like if you go onto the web and look at it, there's a person called Mike Rafferty. You type Mike Rafferty reports, it will come. Now, he's a Toastmaster and he does all these analysis of various districts. And he's got something which is called as club retention, district retention. You click on that, it will show you the retention percentages across district. If you look at all the districts in North America and Europe and all, they will be above 50% in retention. If you come to Asia Pacific, we will kind of be within as low as 20% to as high as 42%. And that shows the demography. If you go to the US, people talk about how to kind of do a good club meeting. When I meet Toastmasters there, they will talk more about process. They will talk more about the quality of the speech. They will talk more about how this person did the evaluation. Okay? That is what they will talk about. We had one member who we interviewed as part of the area director interview, and he was part of a club in the US, and he was saying that there were people who used to drive 3 hours for a club meeting. And he says, when I went and joined the club, the VPE spent almost an hour with me, sitting with me, understanding what my needs are, what I have come here to join Toastmasters. When they enrolled me into the club, after every speech that I gave, the evaluator sat with me after the club meeting to explain to me the reasons why he or she gave an evaluation like that. So if you build that kind of culture, you will definitely attract members and members will stay with us. So we've got a long way to go. It's not that all this will come easily. Okay? And it's not to say that everything we are doing here is wrong. Okay? We have to kind of learn, and we can only learn from people who have been there and done that, which is why we want more interaction with members. And something like this lockdown has actually brought in that opportunity, because there is nothing stopping you today from going and connecting with a club in the US and doing a meeting. Right? They would want to learn from you, you would want to learn from them. And online meetings are going to continue at least for the next 1 year. Mark my words. It's not going to suddenly go back to all being in person. So clubs here still have the opportunity to connect with clubs across the world, do more of these meetings. They are also looking to kind of look at clubs in India. Right? Because the Toastmasters international statistics say that the maximum number of clubs in the world that have been formed last year, first one is United States, second one is India, third one is China. So everybody wants to know what the India story is. So the moment you send a response to any club in the US, I'm sure you will get a response back saying, let's connect. Make use of that opportunity, learn from them. And then you will know how to build the club. But for me, the only thing is, if you're 10 members, the 10 should stay committed, and the enthusiasm of the 10 should rub off on the others. There is no other external mechanism which we can infuse to suddenly grow the membership or to suddenly revitalize a club.
Yes.
Back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes. Already we have that culture, Atiti Devo Bhava. If people from outside India, they are ready to connect with us, definitely we from District 120 are always welcoming them with our open arms. Sir, as you said, for 1 more year, this is going to be online. If in case, how will club meetings be handled when we get back to physical Toastmastering, especially given that according to the recent realignment, members are scattered and clubs are also not grouped according to the geographical proximity. So how we are going to handle?
See, let me tell you, where do the clubs need to come together? Okay. You need to come together for an area contest, or you need to come together for a division contest. I'm talking the standard things when clubs need to come together, right? You need to come together for an officers training program. You need to come together for an area contest. You need to come together for a division contest, and you need to come together for a district contest, right? Or the conference. That anyway, there is provision within the Toastmasters budget to provide for that, for people to travel, if it is for meetings. Only for the area director, not for the members. But if you kind of go separate, how are we handling it? Even when we were not so geographically connected, or we were like Chennai clubs together, other clubs outside, people who have been in Toastmasters for a long time would know the challenge of having somebody to come as an evaluator or a speaker from just the next building apart. I very well remember when I was called to do evaluation roles, or I used to go and do tag team roles in in-person meetings. When you go to walk inside an organization, I could find that there are 3 Toastmasters clubs within the same vicinity. So why didn't you call somebody from there? Why do you call somebody from 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers away? Well, they are not available. So it's not that being closer to you can make more people come together. Okay. And even to answer the question, if we go back to in-person meetings again, we've done that in the past also, when we had an entire division conference which was done outskirts of Chennai, outside of Chennai. When I remember I was the logistics chair at that point of time, we took almost 200 people from Chennai to Trichy for a division conference. So it's not that we cannot do it for members to come together. When we had a conference here in Chennai, when I was a division director, we had 2 busloads of students who came from VIT Vellore all the way to Chennai. They attended the conference, they went back the same day. Some stayed back, they went back the next day. So in today's world, it is all possible. Okay, it's not that it is not possible for us to kind of go meet. If clubs want to do joint meetings, they can still do. right, within an area. Invite one club to, say, Trichy. Next time the Trichy club comes to Chennai, right? It's as simple as that. If you really want to do in-person meetings, which I think you should, but then we can only do it when situations improves and the government gives the all clear signal, right? And what we are looking in today's world is there is a third, people are talking about third wave. And in Toastmasters also, I can see my counterparts from across the world who say, like classic case was Australia. They had all opened up, they had all started meeting in person. Now you would have all read in the newspapers how Sydney has been shut down for another 2 weeks because of the so-called third wave, which has happened, right? Some parts of Europe, they are again saying that they will have to go back and kind of go behind the doors. We have our counterparts in Sri Lanka who wanted to do their annual conference in person. They had all planned for it, but suddenly they had the second wave there and everything had to kind of get cancelled. So we don't want to promise anything at this point of time saying that will we be able to go in person. We may not be able to, but our meetings will not stop because we have this good online medium which is available. As and when the situation improves and clubs be able to, they can go ahead as it's a club decision, right? It's not that you need to take permission from anyone, as long as you are not breaking any governmental rules around people coming together, and as long as all the club members are clear that they will attend a meeting with all the safety protocols in place, the clubs are free to go ahead and take a decision. What will happen to the district, contest district and all that? For that, we have a meeting which has been called for the District Executive Council on 27th of this month, where we have to decide and tell Toastmasters International, are we going to do all the contest in person or are we going to do it online? Okay, so that decision has to be communicated to them, and whatever decision we communicate, we'll have to stay with it. That's what I can say at this moment. But if you look at it today, the online medium has been such a great experience for people. Otherwise, you let me know, as ordinary Toastmasters, would you have connected with people in the US, Europe, South Africa, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Australia, right? Some of us would have, okay, but a lot of us would not have. But this online medium has made us connect to people, share experiences, learn from them, build new friends, look at new mentors. Okay? It's helped you do all of that. And it is still helping you go there. And it is not digressing from what Toastmasters International's core values are, which is about education and learning, right? And leadership. You can still do it online. Like we did a district conference online. Nobody ever thought it could happen. But we took this entire Zoom platform, we transformed it and we did it. So innovation is something that you have to do. And when the world comes back to normal, which I think it will, we will be ready for in-person meetings. So that's what I can say at this moment.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we will definitely wish that everything settles down. We can have our regular at that time. My next question actually was how to convince people to attend online meetings. You have explained that also. So if there is a conflict, this is a slightly different type of question. I think it must be from the president of a club. If there is a conflict between trios, how will you effectively handle? Maybe they are having some problem among the ExCom members.
See, we all believe that in Toastmasters, each of us as individuals have the right to our opinions and beliefs. Okay? So nobody is right here. Nobody is wrong here. Let me put it that way, right? So as a trio, we are all supposed to govern the district or advise the district. I would not use the word govern because we are not governing here. We are only advising and supporting. Support the district based on the rules and regulations which are laid down in the Toastmasters leadership and rules handbook. So when we kind of do something, it's not that this is Satish Menon got up early in the morning on Monday and decided that this is what I will do. And I start implementing that. It doesn't work that way. So whatever we have to do, there has to be a consensus amongst anybody. So I used to tell people that last year when Praveen and me and Partha were there, we used to have differences between us, but we used to resolve it as the trio. And when we went out and announced it to the rest of the team, we all spoke in one voice. See, as a person, I might have certain observations on certain things, but it is not that I should have my right of way always. Sometimes I could be like in the minority as far as the decision goes. That doesn't mean that I will sulk and I will go and tell people, oh, I don't agree to this. The other two are the ones who are doing it. I will not say that. If it is a decision which has been taken by the trio, I will stand by that decision. And we will speak in a common voice to the members. And all of us are bound by the rules and regulations which have been laid down by Toastmasters. So none of us can step outside of that boundary and do things. Because we are answerable if we do something which is not in line with the guidelines. So the question of a rift doesn't arise. Or we may talk about certain things, say, just a hypothetical example to say, should we give this award or should we not give this award? Now, between the three of us, we may have three different opinions. But at the end of the day, we all try to come at a consensus and say, as a district trio, this is what we agreed and this is what we will speak to the members. Because end of the day, we are all here to serve the members. And that's what we should be doing. And that I would encourage everyone, even at a club ExCom level, if you have a conflict, if you have a difference of opinion, resolve it within the club. Get a meeting of everyone, put the issue on the table, resolve it. This is what TI also says, that if you have a club issue, resolve it at the club level. Okay, don't bring it to the district trio, because one thing you should remember, that as district officers cannot interfere in club affairs. As a district director, I can only do something if I have been appointed or I have been told by Toastmasters International to kind of look into a certain matter at a club. But I on my own cannot come and tell a club this is what you should do or this is what you should not do. So it is all left to the club to ensure that they get everybody together and they resolve the issue. And the same process follows even at an area level, division level, and a district level. I would say differences of opinion have to happen. If differences of opinion don't happen, I don't think it is a healthy environment. If everybody agrees for everything, that means we are not thinking. Right? So there has to be difference of opinion. There has to be sharing of ideas. But end of the day, everybody has to come to a consensus on what is good for the district and the members.
Yes, sir. Wow, fantastic, sir. Good learning for all of us. I think this 1 hour is not at all enough. We have many questions remaining because each and everything you explain in detail, and there is no need for us to look anywhere else for the explanation. I believe one more question we have time. Is it advisable to have area directors who belong to respective areas instead of appointing ADs from other areas?
See, there is nothing in the Toastmasters rule book that says that ADs cannot be appointed from another area. Okay. There's nothing that says that. Okay. Because end of the day, we are all Toastmasters and we are all officers who are serving the district or the division or the area. Right? So we are not somebody who's owing our allegiance to a certain area or a certain club. We are members of the club. Okay. Sometimes we can be members of more than one club. And so there's nothing in the rule book that says that I cannot be an area director or a division director for some area or division where my home club is not present. In fact, we have had enough precedences in the past, even last year. If you look at DTM Alex Jacob, who was the Division G director, his home club, Wake Up Chennai Toastmasters, was in Division C. But he was the division director of Division G. So there is nothing that tells like that. It's only like if you have signed up as a district officer, ensure that you play the role to the fullest of what is expected out of you. And sometimes it is better to have you look after a different area because it gives you a different perspective of what members' needs and requirements are, and it helps you make better decisions. So absolutely, there is nothing in the rule book that confines a person to a particular area or division to where their purpose.
Thank you, sir, for this your views. It's really helpful. The questions asked, I believe those who had posted the questions have got their answers, and still a lot more questions. We are not going to end this open house with this just one session. Every month, our district director is going to address you all, us all in fact. So whatever questions, keep them, store them, and shoot at him, direct towards him next month. Keep it for next month. So with this, I believe we have concluded.
What we are trying to do this year, or will be doing, I will not use the word try, we are going to do this year is every month there will be an open house with the trio. So the dates will be published. This meeting, you only had me speaking. From the next meeting onwards, you will also have Gayatri and Aarti taking and answering questions. And we will publish the dates for that as we go along. We will also tell people to submit their questions well in advance. For the simple reason is sometimes if you ask something and we don't have the data with us, we don't want you to kind of go back without your question being answered. So that's for the simple reason why we are saying, please submit your questions well in advance. But however, that doesn't stop you from asking questions during the course of the session. Why we are encouraging this is we want more members to come and ask and voice out their opinions in an open forum so that we can try our level best to address that or answer that so that all of us benefit from our Toastmasters experience. There is nothing, sometimes beliefs that you have or thoughts that you have might get cleared if you ask it in an open forum to multiple people. And that's the simple reason why we are doing this as a practice from next month onwards. The date and the time will be communicated shortly to everyone. But from the next session onwards, you will have the trio taking on the questions in the open house. And we are hopeful that from that we'll build a culture where people are not afraid to stand up and ask questions. People are not afraid to stand up and voice their opinion. And because only when you do that, we become effective communicators and leaders. And all of us are here in a voluntary position. So we are not here in a proper hierarchical organization where people say that if you ask your boss something and the boss is offended, maybe that's curtains for you in the organization. This is not a way. Right? You can ask any question that comes to your mind within the Toastmasters guidelines to the trio, and we'll try our best to answer that. If we are not able to provide answers, we will provide a written response to that after the meeting.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for the insightful session, sir. And I take this opportunity to thank especially our district trios and all the guests present today who could get a chance to, some of you could get a chance to ask questions and get the answers, and others definitely will get the answers offline. So I would like to thank the role players as well, the Zoom master, Jonathan, the timer, Vignesh, and the entire team. Actually, this could not have been possible without a team effort. So I would like to thank the trio, district trio especially, for taking this initiative, and all. Thank you so much.
And if there are any questions, please feel free to email it to me. My ID is Menon Satish, Satish as in SATISH 3 as in numeric 3, menansatish3a@gmail.com. Please feel free to email it to me. When I respond back to you, I will include the other members of the trio also on it, so that they are also aware of what the questions is, because some of it might be related to their area. So please keep the questions coming, and we will be always happy to respond to your queries, because it's only in this culture of asking and sharing and questioning that we will make the district a better place for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for the initiative. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank you. Thank you very much. And good night to everyone.
you. Good night, sir. Thank you for participating.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. See you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yes, you all.
Thank you all.